Good morning. I am fresh-faced and ready to play. Revlon, if you follow me on Instagram stories, sent me the best PR package of all time. And by best, I don't mean it was loaded with 8 million products. Far from it, which is why it's so good. First of all, there was no packing peanuts, no extraneous packing materials. They sent me this reusable zipper bag, which I love because I will reuse this. And in it were their new PhotoReady Candid foundations, 3 of them, just 3, not 31 of them. I believe there are 31 shades, yes, 31, and one concealer, as well as their new loose powder and, where'd I put it? A sneak peek. These will be released in 2019 of one of their new makeup brushes. And there was a whole insert, which I have in front of me, explaining their reasoning behind all this and a little bit about the product. So I talked about it on Instagram stories, and I said, hey, anyone want me to try these out? There was an overwhelming response of yes, please. So I'm not entirely sure that I have my exact shade match, which was interesting. They said here, we know it's wasteful to send a full box of product you don't need. So if there's another shade you'd like to try, please email, and they include the email address. They sent me shade 120 Buff, 130 Ivory, and 150 Creme Brulee. And in previous Revlon foundations, I'm normally like whatever the lightest one is. In this case, I believe it's Porcelain, is one shade lighter than Buff. But I played with them a little bit on my wrist, and I think we can pull this off. They sent me the shade 015 Light in the concealer. It's probably a little too dark, but you know what? We're gonna make this work, and I don't need to be wasteful. Let me tell you a little bit about the foundation, and then we'll chit-chat while I put on a full face of all drugstore makeup, run through my day, and I will check in with you once or twice, definitely at the end of the day, and I'll let you know how everything held up and what I think. So this is the new Revlon PhotoReady Candid Natural Finish Anti-Pollution Foundation. It is interesting. It's not 1 fluid ounce. It's 0.75 fluid ounces. Comes in this little squeezy tube with a cap. With a cap, of course with a cap, with a pump. I have not even made a dent in my coffee. I have it right here. We are getting a late start today. It is 9:30, rough night. Because I don't vlog anymore, I'll fill you in a little bit on my weekend. Last night was senior mom dance practice. It's a tradition with the varsity football that the night before the last regular season game, we have a senior pep rally, and the senior parents do a dance in the pep rally. And we had dance practice last night, which is a little tricky for me because my knee is still not doing well. I go to see the doctor in a couple of days for a diagnosis, hopefully. And I tried to participate as much as I could, and maybe overdid it a little. So my knee was really hurting last night, kept me up all night. So didn't sleep well. Hence the late start, and still working on my coffee. Okay, back to the PhotoReady foundation. There are 31 shades. It's a nice shade range. A lot in the kind of beige category, but you know, they're giving it a go. So yay for Revlon. And there are 17 shades of the Antioxidant concealer and 3 shades of the three translucent shades of the Anti-Pollutant setting powder. So all of these also, they've added antioxidant, anti-pollutant, and anti-blue light ingredients. I have to admit, a little skeptical as to what those are. And they took out ingredients like parabens, phthalates, artificial fragrances, artificial dyes, and oils. It's creamy, moisturizing, and buildable. To give you an impeccable finish, it does not say exactly what sort of finish that would be. So let's find out. I'm gonna grab the lightest option, 120 Buff. I am moisturized. Let's give this a pump. That's 2 pumps. Yeah, I think we can make this work. Having a little not great skin day. It's healing, there's nothing fresh, but I have this theory that every time I travel, it's going to be inevitable that I break out. I will say this doesn't feel, it's a thicker foundation, and it doesn't feel as creamy. It has a thickness to it. It's not as emollient. Okay, I'm going to wipe off the excess here. This is their new, I took off all the wrapping, so I don't remember what this is called. But it's basically a flat top buffing brush for foundation, matte black handle. It's pretty cool. It's pretty hefty. I'm just looking into the mirror over here. Yeah, this doesn't drag. So they removed a lot of extraneous stuff that I'm not mad about chemicals, I gotta say. I'm not one of those nature girls. So I like chemicals because they give my foundation slip. Everything's a chemical. I'm a chemical. I'm made up of hundreds of chemicals. I'm a carbon-based kind of creature. Anyway, it's my little science nerd. So this doesn't glide on as smoothly as I would like. I have dry skin. I am moisturized, but I do have dry skin. So I'm a little concerned this is going to cling to dry patches, of which I have a few because I have some healing blemishes. Coverage is pretty good with 1.5, I'd say, pumps. You know, I had a lot of, you can still kind of see it, but I have some red healing blemishes here. There was a really dark one here, and you can still kind of see here. I do have to leave my house today. I'm going to add a little more. Yeah, I can see it's clinging here too already. Give it a full pump. I'm not going to probably use the full pump, but I'm going to kind of use this more to spot treat. I think this is just initial impression that if you have combo to oily skin, this is going to work better for you than if you have dry skin. I like a dewy, more satin to dewy finish, and this is whatever impeccable finish they're referring to, I'd say is matte, demi-matte. Demi? I will say this brush is great. It's really soft. I like this brush. So here is just, I'd say 2 generous pumps of foundation. Pretty good coverage. It's not like full coverage. It's, I would say, medium buildable. It's a pretty finish. It's definitely pretty. It's wearable. It's nice. I don't want to say it's natural, but it's skin-like. So initially I can just see some clinging here, which you probably can't see. It's not really sticking to any fine lines, of which I have quite a few. All right, let's move on to concealer. I am going to have this do double duty and conceal blemishes and under eyes. And it does say it has caffeine, so that would be good for your under eyes. Caffeine, antioxidants, anti-pollution, anti-blue light, without sulfates, phthalates, no harsh fragrances, oil-free, medium coverage. Okay, so I don't really need to caffeinate my blemishes, but we're gonna go there. So it's a squeezy tube again, doe foot applicator. It's a really strange, it's like a paddle doe foot, and it curves a little at the end. Again, kind of a thicker, just gonna use my finger to pat that in. Thicker consistency. I am going to do Drugstore brightener. I got the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. I don't love it. I'll just be, ooh, a lot of goo. I'll be really clear. I do not love it. I'm gonna just pat that in with a beauty blender. Let's try this concealer. It has a yellowish, on the doe foot applicator, I can see some yellow undertones. It's pretty thick. It's really yellow. Can you see how yellow that is? That should be brightening. That's not a bad thing. We're gonna use this to pat that in. This is definitely working. This shade blends really nicely. I'm gonna add some concealer. This redness did not fully cover on my chin. So, is it my first choice? I'm just gonna do a little spot concealing. This isn't the coverage I would prefer, but this might be the coverage you prefer, so this is why we're doing this. And I don't think this is marketed for your face. It's for under eyes, I think. I would not say this is medium coverage. I think that is stretching it. Now let's set it. So I have the Candid Anti-Pollution Setting Powder in 001. It's really finely milled, like extremely finely milled, and has a little cap like so. It's very messy. I'm gonna use a little brush to set it under the eye. I'm just gonna pat. Now I have seen where this powder gives back some incredible flashback. Flashback is not something I generally worry about for a couple of reasons. One, I am so pale that it would be hard to get much paler than I currently am. Secondly, as a general rule, I don't encounter a lot of flash photography in my everyday life. I am not followed by the paparazzi. I'm usually not in some sort of party situation where we're taking pictures with flash photography. It's a non-issue for me, but some people it is. So I will try to take a picture with a flash before the end of this, so we will see if I can duplicate the same thing that is happening to everybody else who wears this powder. It's really silky on the skin, though. It feels really nice. It feels like a very expensive powder. So if we don't get flashback, then I so far really, really like it. All right, I am going to throw on the rest of my makeup really quickly. I will list all of it in the description box. All of it is Drugstore, starting with the bronzer that I have in my hand, the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, and I'll just hop right back on as soon as I finish my whole face. Be right back. They also sent me this Revlon Kiss Cushion Lip Tint, again, with the cool envelope. These are weird. Okay, I'll just put it out there. Weird is maybe not the nicest phrasing. So they look like this. They look like a lot like little chubby sticks, don't they? They are Revlon Kiss Cushion Lip Tint. Again, I will just read you the information here. It is supposed to deliver a moisturizing tint with a balm-like finish that dries down for the ultimate stained lip look. So full disclosure, I'm not a fan of the lip stain look. I just want either lip gloss or a satin lipstick. Like, that's it. That's all the two finishes in my life. That's all I need. I just want the matte liquid lipstick concept to just go away. I don't like it, but some people do like it. So there are 10 shades. I'm not going to try on all of them. I have been wearing off and on this one called Pretty Kiss. I'll swatch these on the back of my hand. So it has it's like a cushion. They're calling it a cushion tip applicator. This does have coconut oil in it, they say. So you twist it. You can hear it clicking. It is very gel-like and balmy initially. That's a very light shade. There are quite a few shades, 10 in fact. The next one they call Fancy Rose. It's not at all rosy. It is just brown. I was very excited because on the sheet they sent, it looks like a nice soft pink, but it is in fact really just a browny pink. So a little disappointed. And then there's Pink IRL, pink in real life. That's kind of cool. And then it goes all the way into, there's some coral, a coral, not some. This one is called High-End Coral. This is what it looks like before you twist it up. It takes quite a bit of twisting to get this thing going. There's your bright coral, it's very bright. And then it has deeper shades like Wine Trip. There's Wine Trip. I mean, it's very deep and so forth. There's a red, there's a berry. So I think for the purposes of my daily life, I'm gonna go with something a little brighter. It's pretty bright. No, I lied. I'm gonna stick with Pretty Kiss, and it is a little messy. You know what? No, this does nothing for me. We're gonna try Naughty Mauve or Naughty Mauve or however you wanna say whatever this is. It's kind of messy. It's hard to get it on precisely. A lip liner would be great. I'm going to go finish my hair. I washed it last night and then just did a rough dry, so this needs to get done. And I will check in later on and we'll see how at least the skin part is holding up. Okay, it's a couple hours later, it's 12:15. I did have brunch, so I really put this to the test. I had leftover pasta with garlic and butter, so real greasy. So the lipstick is still there. I mean, it's a stain and it feels still balmy. I don't know if that's leftover butter, but curled my hair. I just used a 1 1/4 inch curling iron. Anyway, just all over. Not alternating directions if you're curious. Anyway, so that is the look. It's holding up so far. I don't think I dribbled too much on my chin. So that's 2 hours in, and now we are off to run some errands, but I'll check in a little bit later and see how it's holding up. It is quite late. It is literally 12 hours later. It's almost 9:45 at night. And do you want to say hi, Rowdy? Okay. And it's been a long day. There's been some doggy kisses. I had to give Wrigley a bath, so there was a lot of splashing and water flying. And I am home late. I just walked in the door from senior varsity football mom dance practice. So I've been like dancing as much as I can with my knee in a brace, but there was some sweating. So my first impression was a little like, I don't know about this. But I have to tell you, as the day went on, I'm really pleased with this foundation. First of all, the price point is great. It's $11 basically. 31 shades, all that, that's all great. The finish is really pretty. I feel it's another one of those foundations, very much like the La Mer foundation, that as the day goes on, it kind of melds with your skin and looks better. And in fact, now that I'm thinking about it, is very similar in the finish as the day wears on to the La Mer foundation. If I had to do it all over again, and I will use this again, I probably wouldn't apply it necessarily with the brush that was included. I do love the brush, but I think because of the thickness of the consistency, I would apply it with a beauty blender and then maybe go over with a brush the areas that I wanted a little more coverage. I did go back towards the middle of the day and add a little bit of concealer, different concealer, to a couple of my blemish areas, but other than that, and then I repowdered, and I want to show you something about what happens when you do take a flash photo wearing the powder. So let me insert some pictures. You can see this is what I look like with same place, same setting, without the flash, and then immediately after with the flash. And even as pale as I am, there is flashback. So it's not the foundation, it's the powder. So as long as you are not in a flash photography situation, I think the powder is just fine to wear, but I would avoid wearing it for an evening out or special occasion or something like that. Otherwise, I actually like all of them. And let me address the concealer. This is 12 hours of wear, no touching up. I didn't repowder under my eyes, and no creasing, no wearing away, didn't settle into my lines. Wonderful foundation. I'm really impressed. So I'm gonna have to recommend all 3 products and the brush, even though you can't get it yet. I also did want to include real quickly a picture of the 3 different shades that were sent to me, so you can just see in general even those 3 light shades, because I do want to mention one thing. I feel like this foundation range runs lighter. So generally, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I am usually the lightest shade in the Revlon shade range, and I'm actually 1 or 2 shades darker, and it's still a perfect match. So just be careful if you're picking at the, like if there aren't any testers available, just go up a shade, I would say. 1 shade than your normal shade, and you should be fine. Maybe even 2 though. So make sure you buy it somewhere where you can return it, like Ulta. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for sticking around and watching. I'm gonna now wash all of this off and get into my jammies and call it a night. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.